Alex Summers couldn't help but stare as the massive space station came into view. It looked like a giant metal snowflake, with arms stretching out for miles in every direction. Lights sparkled across its surface like stars. "Concordia Station," said Samantha Reeves, standing beside him at the viewport. "Home of the Galactic Council and our home for the next few weeks." As Earth's top diplomat, Samantha looked calm, but Alex noticed how she kept smoothing her uniform jacket. Captain John Martinez joined them, his military posture perfect as always. "Remember, we represent all of humanity here. First impressions matter." Alex nodded, suddenly very aware of his role. As Earth's leading zoologist specializing in dangerous predators, he had been chosen to help the Council understand Earth's wildlife. But right now, he felt more like a freshman on the first day of school. Their ship docked with a gentle bump. When the airlock opened, Alex was hit with new smells, strange spices, unknown materials, and something like ozone. The air felt slightly thicker than Earth's. A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms stepped forward. "Welcome to Concordia, humans. I am Zix, your guide." 2 of Zix's hands made a complex gesture, while the other 2 held a tablet-like device. "Please follow me to processing." As they walked through the station, Alex couldn't stop looking around. Aliens of all shapes moved through the halls, some tall and thin, others short and wide. Some floated rather than walked. Some had multiple limbs, eyes, or mouths. A few looked almost human until you noticed the extra fingers or unusual skin colors. Many aliens stopped to stare at the humans. Alex heard whispers as they passed. "So fragile looking. I heard they can run for days without stopping. Their planet is full of poisons they just eat. They break bones and just keep going." Zix led them to a large chamber where several important-looking aliens sat behind a curved desk. "The human delegation from Earth," Zix announced. A tall bird-like alien with shimmering feathers nodded. "Welcome to the Galactic Council. I am High Counselor Tell. We have prepared accommodations suitable for your biological needs." Samantha stepped forward and gave a practiced speech about friendship and cooperation. Alex only half listened, distracted by all the new life forms around him. Suddenly, alarms began to chime softly. The council members looked toward the far entrance, where other aliens were quickly moving aside, pressing themselves against walls. "What's happening?" John whispered. Zix's blue skin paled. "The Draconid delegation approaches. Please, stand aside, and make no sudden movements." 4 tall reptilian beings entered the chamber. They stood nearly 8 feet tall, with scaled skin that shimmered between dark green and black. Their faces reminded Alex of Earth's Komodo dragons, but with intelligent yellow eyes that scanned the room carefully. They moved with silent grace that seemed impossible for their size. The entire room had gone quiet. Even High Counselor Tall seemed nervous. "The Draconids," Zix whispered. "Their homeworld hosts the most dangerous predators in known space. They evolved alongside creatures that would consider your Earth's most fearsome predators as mere prey." Alex studied the Draconids with professional interest. Their powerful bodies showed clear adaptations for a high-gravity world with dangerous competitors. Their claws looked retractable, like a cat's but much larger. Their eyes had vertical pupils that suggested excellent night vision. One of the Draconids noticed Alex's stare and turned to face him directly. The alien's yellow eyes narrowed, and its head tilted slightly in what might have been curiosity. Alex respectfully lowered his gaze, using body language that would signal non-aggression to Earth's apex predators. "The human chose wisdom," the Draconid said in a deep, rumbling voice that needed no translation. "Most new species stare too long." Alex looked up, surprised. "Your homeworld must have taught hard lessons about eye contact." The Draconid made a sound like stones grinding together. Later, Alex would learn this was laughter. "Indeed, human. Some lessons are written in blood and survival." The Draconid moved on, joining its delegation. Samantha gave Alex an impressed look. Nice job. Maybe you should be the diplomat. Alex shook his head. I just spoke to him like I would to any apex predator, with respect. Little did Alex know that this brief exchange would soon seem very important indeed. 3 days passed as Alex and the human team settled into life aboard Concordia. They attended meetings, toured laboratories, and tried strange foods from across the galaxy. Alex spent most of his time in the station's xenobiology wing, studying data on alien wildlife. He was deep in research about the Draconid homeworld when the alarm started. Not the soft chimes that had announced the Draconids' arrival days earlier, but harsh, pulsing sounds that made his teeth hurt. Red lights flashed in the hallways. Alex stepped out of his research pod to see aliens running in all directions. Some were screaming in languages his translator couldn't handle. All personnel, secure yourselves in designated safe zones, announced a calm voice over the station speakers. This is not a drill. Containment breach in Sector 7. Xenobiology Research Wing. Alex felt a chill. He was standing in Sector 7 right now. A security officer with 6 limbs and armored skin rushed past, then stopped and turned back. Human, why are you not in your safe zone? You must evacuate immediately. What's happening? Alex asked. The officer's breathing slits flared with stress. A nightshade beast has escaped containment. It was being transported from the Draconid homeworld for research. The transport pod failed. Alex remembered reading about nightshade beasts just minutes ago. They were apex predators from the harshest regions of the Draconid world. Even the Draconids feared them. How dangerous is it? He asked. It has killed 3 security personnel already. The Draconids warned us, but we... A burst of static came from the officer's communication device. I must go. Get to safety, human. Alex ran toward the human quarters, but stopped when his path was blocked by sealed emergency doors. He would need to take a different route. As he navigated the unfamiliar hallways, the station seemed to be going into deeper lockdown. Doors sealed behind him, and soon he found himself in an empty maintenance corridor. The alarm was muffled here, and the emergency lights cast everything in a red glow. A message appeared on his personal device from Samantha. Where are you? Council chambers in lockdown. John says stay put until security handles the situation. Alex typed back. Taking alternate route. Will be. He stopped typing when he heard something. A soft scraping sound, like claws on metal. Then a low hiss that raised the hair on his neck. Slowly, Alex turned around. At the end of the corridor stood a nightmare, over 2 meters tall, with obsidian scales that seemed to swallow the red emergency light. 6 limbs, the upper 4 ending in curved claws that looked sharp enough to slice through the station's metal walls. A long whip-like tail adorned with venomous quills swayed behind it. Its head was reptilian, but with too many eyes. 8 yellow orbs that blinked independently as they focused on him. The nightshade beast. Alex stood perfectly still. Running would trigger a chase response. Sudden movements might provoke an attack. His mind raced through everything he knew about apex predators. The creature took a step forward, its claws making that scraping sound he'd heard. Alex noticed dark liquid dripping from its lower right limb. It was injured. Through his fear, Alex's scientific mind clicked into gear. The beast's posture was aggressive, yes, but he recognized defensive positioning. It was favoring its injured limb, keeping its back to the wall. The multiple eyes were blinking rapidly in the harsh red light. It wasn't just hunting. It was scared. The station's speakers crackled again. Attention. Lethal response authorized in Sector 7B. All personnel clear the area. Repeat, lethal response authorized. Alex realized they were going to try to kill the creature. Standard protocol for dangerous wildlife that couldn't be contained. But something about this didn't feel right to him. The nightshade beast hissed again, louder this time. It took another step forward. Alex made a decision that would change everything. Instead of backing away, he slowly, carefully sat down on the floor of the corridor, making himself smaller and less threatening. The beast paused, its multiple eyes blinking in what might have been confusion. The standoff had begun. Alex stayed perfectly still on the floor of the corridor. His heart beat fast, but he controlled his breathing. The nightshade beast watched him with its 8 yellow eyes, still hissing softly. "Easy there," Alex said in a low, calm voice. He knew the creature couldn't understand his words, but tone mattered with animals. "I'm not going to hurt you." His device buzzed. A message from Samantha. "Security shows you're in the same sector as the creature. Get out now." Alex didn't move to check it. Any sudden movement might trigger the beast. Instead, he studied the creature more carefully. The bright emergency lights were making the beast blink constantly. Its injured leg was bleeding a dark blue liquid. The ventilation system was pumping in some kind of chemical smell, probably cleaning agents the station was using to try to track or repel the creature. Alex realized all of these things were making the beast more agitated. On its homeworld, it would be used to dim light, natural smells, and quiet surroundings. The station was sensory overload. Slowly, very slowly, Alex reached for his device. The beast tensed but didn't attack. He sent a message to Samantha. "I need to talk to you and John. Emergency channel. Don't send security yet." His device buzzed almost immediately as a communication link opened. John's angry voice came through. "What the hell are you doing, Alex? Security feed shows you sitting 10 feet from that monster." "Listen carefully," Alex said quietly. "I think I can calm it down. But I need your help. This creature is terrified, not just aggressive." "It's killed 3 people already," John argued. "Because it's scared," Alex insisted. "Look, I've worked with Earth's most dangerous predators. They lash out when threatened. This beast is experiencing sensory overload." There was a pause, then Samantha's voice. "What do you need from us?" "I need control of the environmental systems in this sector. Dim the lights, change the air circulation to remove these chemical smells, and reduce the background noise if possible." "The Council will never approve this," John said. "Then don't ask them," Alex replied. "Tell them I'm already dead if you have to." Another pause. Alex could imagine the argument happening miles away in the council chambers. "Fine," John finally said. "But if you get killed, I'm not explaining it to your mother." Alex smiled slightly. "Fair enough." 10 minutes passed in silence. The beast continued to watch Alex, but neither moved. Then, gradually, the harsh red lights dimmed to a soft glow. The chemical smell in the air began to fade. The constant hum of the station's systems quieted. The effect on the nightshade beast was immediate. Its rapid eye-blinking slowed. Its breathing became more regular. The tail with the venomous quills lowered slightly from its alert position. "It's working," Alex whispered into his device. "Now I need one more thing. Can you get me in contact with the Draconid delegation? I need to know what smells would be familiar to this creature from its home environment." This time, the pause was longer. Finally, a new voice came through the device. The deep, rumbling tones of a Draconid. "Human, you surprise us. Our security observers report you have survived 3 times longer than expected in the presence of a nightshade beast. I need your help," Alex said simply. "What plants or materials would smell familiar and safe to this creature?" The Draconid made that grinding stone sound of laughter. "You truly believe you can calm a nightshade beast? Even we hunt them only in large groups, and always from a distance." "Please," Alex insisted. "What smells like home to it?" After a long moment, the Draconid answered. "There is a flowering vine that grows where these beasts make their dens. We call it moonshade. The scent is similar to what you humans call lavender, but with hints of citrus. Can you synthesize that smell and pump it through the ventilation system in this sector?" Another pause. "It will be done," the Draconid finally said. "Though I believe we are simply making your final moments more pleasant." Alex smiled again. "We'll see." As he waited, Alex continued to observe the beast. Its defensive posture was relaxing slightly. Hope began to grow in him. This might actually work. A sweet smell began to fill the air. It reminded Alex of lavender mixed with orange. The nightshade beast lifted its head, nostrils flaring. Its tail swished once, then again. "I think it's working," Alex whispered into his device. "Security teams are standing by." John's voice came back. "The Galactic Council is watching through the security cameras. They think you're insane." Alex almost laughed. "Maybe I am." The beast took a cautious step forward. Alex held his breath. Then another step. Its injured leg was still bleeding, but the creature seemed to be ignoring the pain now. "It's coming closer," Samantha's worried voice said in his ear. "Alex, maybe you should." "I'm fine," Alex interrupted. "Don't send anyone in. That would just scare it again." The beast was now only 5 feet away, close enough that Alex could feel its warm breath, close enough that one quick swipe of those claws could end him. Instead of fear, Alex felt a strange calm. This was what he had trained for his whole life. Not alien beasts specifically, but understanding predators, reading their body language, respecting their power, finding ways to connect. "Hey there," he said softly to the creature. "You're just lost and scared, aren't you? Strange place, strange smells, strange creatures chasing you." The beast tilted its head, as if trying to understand his words. Its multiple eyes blinked in sequence rather than all at once now. Alex noticed something he hadn't seen before. Around the beast's neck was a thin metal collar with blinking lights, probably a tracking and research device, but it looked too tight, and the skin underneath seemed irritated. "That collar looks uncomfortable," Alex said quietly. "I bet that's not helping your mood." He had an idea. Risky, but worth trying. Keeping his movements slow and deliberate, Alex hummed a simple tune. He had used humming with big cats on Earth. The steady, rhythmic sound often had a calming effect. The beast's head tilted further. 2 of its eyes closed while the others remained fixed on Alex. Hour after hour passed this way. Alex humming softly, the beast watching. Sometimes it would pace a short distance away, then return. The sweet moonshade scent continued to flow through the vents. "Alex, it's been 4 hours," Samantha said eventually. "Security is getting impatient." "Tell them to wait," Alex replied. "I think we're making progress." In truth, his legs were cramping from sitting so long on the hard floor. His throat was dry, but he didn't dare break the fragile trust that was building. During the 5th hour, something remarkable happened. The beast lay down, not in an attack posture, but in a resting position. It kept its eyes on Alex, but its breathing had slowed. "It's resting," Alex whispered excitedly. "This is a good sign." By hour 6, Alex was struggling to stay awake. His head nodded forward, then jerked back up. The beast noticed and made a soft clicking sound. "Sorry," Alex murmured. "Just tired." To his surprise, the beast pushed itself up and moved closer to him. Alex tensed, but forced himself to remain still. The creature circled him once, then settled down again, this time just 3 feet away. "I don't believe what I'm seeing," came the rumbling voice of the Draconid in his ear. "It's treating you as a non-threat. This has never been documented before." Alex smiled tiredly. Everyone needs a friend sometimes, even apex predators. As hour 7 began, Alex decided to take the biggest risk yet. He slowly, very slowly, extended his hand, palm down, toward the beast. Not too close, just enough to offer contact if the creature wanted it. The nightshade beast's eyes all focused on his hand. Its tail twitched once. On the other end of the communication link, Alex could hear gasps and murmurs. The beast leaned forward slightly, nostrils flaring as it sniffed his hand. "Alex," John's voice was tense. "What are you doing?" "Building trust," Alex whispered back. The entire station seemed to hold its breath. The nightshade beast stared at Alex's outstretched hand. Its nostrils flared again, taking in his scent. Then, with a movement so gentle it seemed impossible from such a powerful predator, the beast leaned forward and pressed its scaled head against Alex's palm. A collective gasp came through Alex's communication device. "He's touching it," someone whispered. "The human is touching a nightshade beast." Alex barely heard them. He was focused entirely on the creature. Its scales felt warm and smooth under his hand, almost like polished stone, but alive with the beast's breathing. He stayed perfectly still, letting the creature control the contact. After a few moments, the beast pushed its head more firmly against his hand. Alex carefully began to move his fingers, scratching gently where the collar had irritated the skin. The beast made a new sound, not a hiss or growl, but a deep rumbling purr. "It's purring." The Draconid's voice was filled with disbelief. "Many predators respond to gentle touch," Alex explained softly. "They don't get much of it in the wild." The beast shifted position, bringing its injured leg into Alex's view. The wound was still bleeding slightly. "It needs medical attention," Alex said. "But I don't think traditional methods will work. No restraints, no force." "What do you suggest?" Samantha asked. "I need a medical kit with basic supplies, and I need someone who knows nightshade beast physiology." A few minutes later, a small robot rolled into the corridor. It stopped a safe distance away and opened to reveal a medical kit. The beast tensed at the mechanical visitor, but relaxed when Alex began humming again. "I'm going to try to treat its wound," Alex told his observers. "The Draconid expert should guide me." "This is highly irregular," a new Draconid voice responded. "But I am Krath, lead biologist. I will assist." Slowly, Alex reached for the medical kit. The beast watched but didn't object. Following Krath's instructions, Alex prepared a disinfectant safe for the creature's biology. "Now comes the difficult part," Alex said. "I need to touch its injured leg." He moved with extreme care, keeping his movements slow and predictable. The beast watched, its multiple eyes blinking in sequence. When Alex gently touched the injured leg, the creature flinched but didn't pull away. "Amazing," Krath murmured. "It trusts you." Over the next 30 minutes, Alex cleaned and bandaged the wound under Krath's guidance. The beast remained calm throughout the process, occasionally making that rumbling purr when Alex scratched certain spots. "The collar is still bothering it," Alex observed. "Can it be removed safely?" There was a long pause before Krath answered. "There is a release mechanism, a small button on the left side. But I must warn you, removing the collar might change the beast's behavior. It contains mild sedative compounds." Alex considered this. So without it, the beast might become more aggressive. "Possibly," Krath confirmed. "It would be unwise." Alex looked into the beast's yellow eyes. Despite having 8 of them, there was something familiar in that gaze. Intelligence, pain, and maybe even hope. "I'm going to release it," Alex decided. "Alex, don't," John began. But Alex had already found the small button on the collar. With a soft click, the device opened and fell away from the beast's neck. Everyone waited for the creature to attack. Instead, it shook its head as if clearing it, then looked at Alex with all 8 eyes focused intently. Slowly, deliberately, the beast lowered its massive head and placed it in Alex's lap. "I don't believe what I'm seeing," Krath whispered. Alex gently stroked the beast's head. Sometimes all a creature needs is for someone to show it a little kindness. Through his device, Alex could hear the chaos erupting in the council chambers. Arguments, exclamations of disbelief, demands for explanations. But here in the quiet corridor, with just him and the fearsome predator now resting peacefully in his lap, none of that mattered. "I think," Alex said with a smile, that we just made a friend. News of what Alex had done spread through Concordia Station faster than light-speed communications. By the time security escorts finally arrived to guide him, and the now docile nightshade beast, to a proper containment area, crowds of aliens lined the corridors, pressed against safety barriers to catch a glimpse of the impossible. A human walking side by side with a nightshade beast. No restraints, no weapons, just trust. The beast stayed close to Alex, occasionally bumping against his side like an oversized house cat. Its injured leg was healing well, and the irritation from the collar was already fading. "We will need to name it," Alex told Samantha and John when they finally reunited in a special observation room. The beast was resting nearby on a heated platform designed to mimic the volcanic rocks of its home environment. "Name it." John looked at Alex like he had grown a second head. "That thing killed 3 security officers." Out of fear, Alex reminded him. "And now it's calm. Look at it." Indeed, the creature that had caused station-wide panic was now stretched out lazily, its multiple eyes half closed in contentment. "I suggest calling it Shadow," Alex said. Simple, but fitting. Samantha shook her head in amazement. "The Galactic Council has called an emergency session. They want you to address them." "Alex, nothing like this has ever happened before." Hours later, Alex stood before the full council. Hundreds of alien species were represented, their attention focused entirely on him. Shadow waited in a comfortable holding area nearby, with live video showing the beast's relaxed state. The High Counselor Ptal spoke first. "Human Alex Summers, your actions today defy all known protocols for handling Class 5 dangerous species. You risk your life and potentially the safety of this station." Alex nodded, accepting the criticism. "And yet," Ptal continued, "you have achieved what our experts deemed impossible. The taming of a nightshade beast." "Not taming," Alex corrected gently. "Understanding. There's a difference." A murmur ran through the gathered representatives. The Draconid representative stepped forward. His name was Vex, and he was the largest of their delegation. "For 10,000 years, my people have lived alongside the beasts of our world," Vex said, his deep voice filling the chamber. "We respected them, feared them, hunted them when necessary, but never once did we consider befriending them." Vex turned to face the other council members. "The human approach is strange to us. Dangerous, perhaps, but we cannot deny its effectiveness. I formally request that human Alex Summers be permitted to visit our homeworld to share his methods with our wildlife management teams." This caused an uproar. Species from across the galaxy shouted questions and concerns. Some seemed excited by the possibility, others deeply worried. High Counselor Ptal had to bang a ceremonial staff several times to restore order. "Human," she said when quiet returned, "do you understand what is being proposed? No non-Draconid has ever been permitted on their homeworld. The environmental conditions alone could kill you." Alex stood tall. "I understand the risks, but I also understand the opportunity. If I can help build better relationships between the Draconids and the creatures they share their world with, isn't that worth the danger?" Samantha stepped forward to stand beside him. "Earth would consider this a great honor, and a significant step toward our full integration into the galactic community." The council debated for hours. Alex waited patiently, occasionally checking the video feed to make sure Shadow remained calm. Finally, a decision was reached. "The request is granted," High Counselor Ptal announced. "Human Alex Summers will travel to the Draconid homeworld as Earth's first ambassador to that planet. Additionally, we are creating a new position within the Council, Interspecies Wildlife Liaison, which will be filled by a human expert." Alex could hardly believe what he was hearing, all because he had sat quietly with a scared predator and shown it kindness. As the session concluded, the Draconid Vex approached Alex. "Prepare yourself, human. Our world is beautiful, but deadly, even with your special talents." Alex nodded. "I look forward to the challenge." He had no idea just how challenging it would be. 6 months later, Alex stood on the surface of the Draconid homeworld. The sky above was a deep purple, with 2 suns hanging low on the horizon. The air was thick and hot, heavy with strange scents. Around him stretched a landscape of black rocks and red soil, with strange twisted plants growing in clusters. Shadow moved beside him, now fully healed and more energetic in its home environment. The beast had become Alex's constant companion, even traveling with him on the long journey from Concordia Station. "The research center is just ahead," said Krath, the Draconid biologist who had guided Alex's medical treatment of Shadow. In the months since, Krath had become something like a friend. Alex looked where Krath pointed. A massive structure of black stone and metal rose from the rocky landscape. The newly established Interspecies Behavioral Research Center. "Hard to believe it's only been 6 months, Alex said. Krath made his grinding stone laugh. "Hard to believe we allowed a human on our planet. But here we are." Inside the research center, a team of 5 humans worked alongside 20 Draconid scientists. They were studying various predators from this dangerous world, applying techniques Alex had pioneered with Shadow. Professor Summers called Lucy Grant, a young zoologist from Earth. "We've had a breakthrough with the juvenile nightshades." Alex followed her to a large habitat area. Inside, 3 young nightshade beasts, each about half the size of Shadow, were interacting with 2 Draconid handlers. Not attacking, not fighting, but allowing careful approach and even gentle handling. "They've accepted the Draconids as non-threats," Lucy explained excitedly. "We started with your scent association techniques, then added the humming. It worked even better than we hoped." Alex watched with pride. The Draconids are learning fast. "We have had to change much of our thinking," Krath admitted. "For thousands of years, we saw the beasts of our world only as dangers to be avoided or killed, never as potential companions." That evening, a special ceremony was held at the research center. High Counselor Tal herself had traveled from Concordia to attend, along with representatives from 30 other species. They gathered in the main observation area, watching as Draconid handlers demonstrated their new abilities with creatures once considered untamable. When it was Alex's turn to speak, he kept his words simple. "The galaxy is full of dangerous things," he said, with Shadow sitting calmly beside him. "But danger doesn't always mean enemy. Sometimes, what looks most frightening is just afraid itself. Humans learned this lesson on Earth over thousands of years. We turned wolves into dogs, wild cats into pets, and even made friends with birds and fish and tiny insects." He placed his hand gently on Shadow's head, and the great beast leaned into his touch. "What made humans different wasn't our technology or our strength," Alex continued. "It was our willingness to try understanding instead of fearing. To see potential friends where others saw only monsters." High Counselor Tal stepped forward. "The Galactic Council has learned much from humanity's example. We are pleased to announce that Earth is now officially accepted as a full member world, with all rights and responsibilities this entails." The announcement was met with cheers and various alien sounds of approval. Alex felt a surge of pride, not just for himself, but for all of humanity. Later that night, Alex stood alone on a high balcony, looking out over the strange landscape. Shadow lounged nearby, watching the unfamiliar stars. "You know," Alex said to the beast, though he knew it couldn't understand his words, "back on Earth, we have a saying: the more different the worlds, the more they stay the same." He laughed at his own mistake. "Wait, that's not right. But you get the idea." Shadow made a soft purring sound, as if agreeing. Across the galaxy, humans were now being called to help with dangerous species on dozens of worlds. Earth's greatest contribution to galactic society wasn't advanced technology or military might. It was the simple ability to make friends with the monsters everyone else feared. And it had all started because one human had chosen to sit quietly with a scared predator and see beyond its fearsome appearance to the living being beneath.